WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. It is Wednesday, lining up another powerhouse show. Ralph is going to give us week 9 trends and angles. We're going to talk sandwiches, and we're going to preview Penn State and Ohio State, and we're going to talk about World Series Game 5. Actually, Ralph and I were just talking about this game off air, and we stopped because we want to talk about this on air. There's some really good angles in this game. Ross Benjamin is going to join us for NBA. We're going to talk Pacers, Mavericks, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and another episode of This Line Makes No Sense. I'm going to break down Celtics and Cavs, and we got some free plays. Buckle up, guys. We got a Scottish Premiership free soccer play coming in all around the world, so buckle up. It's like having an espresso, put so much energy into you. Coming off of 2 wins on $5 Friday. Thank you all that joined, and we got an NBA best bet that is up. Let's bring in Ralph Michaels. And Ralph, I want to start with this World Series game. I want to get your breakdown, and then let's continue the conversation. We had some, we were talking props and some interesting angles. So, listen, hindsight's 2020. Shout out to Blocked. If you're in here, Blocked, you were Blocked. You were like, Ohtani gets rocked. Great call by you. Toronto now pulls the upset. They win 6-2. We got 3 games in a row. We have the 18-inning. This is going to be a fascinating breakdown. What's your breakdown? And then let's talk some props.
Well, first, let's remember this. In March, U Savage was 22 years old and pitching in single A. He goes to double A. He goes to triple A. He gets called up in the mid-September and now starts World Series Game 1 and World Series Game 5. Now, if you look at his numbers on the year, he's got a 3.82 ERA, not bad. But are you guys aware that his first 2 games were road starts, but his last 6 games and every playoff game has been at home? So he pitched at Tampa Bay and he pitched at Kansas City. Now he's pitching at Chevis Ravine. We know Blake Snell, same matchup, game number 1, had a poor performance. These were Snell's quotes. I'm beyond excited to have another opportunity to really display the kind of pitcher that I am and I'm striving to be. He was 3-0 with a 0.86 ERA in the first 3 preseason starts, and he says, I'm so excited, I want to contribute. There's no better moment than right now. When I looked at Snell, and when he had a bad pitching performance, and he's now pitching at home, listen to the last 5 starts where he allowed at least 3 runs in one game, and he started at home the next game. 5 innings, no runs, 1 hit. 6 innings, no runs, 2 hits. 4 innings, no earned runs, 5 hits. 3 innings, 0 runs, 3 hits. 6 innings, 0 runs, 2 hits. That is 5 straight games without allowing a run at home after allowing 3 runs or more. And what made this a client play for me, I wasn't even going to get there, but when I started breaking the game down more for WagerTalk Today, there was a big thing that I missed. Toronto has the biggest home-away dichotomy versus left-handed starters. Remember, they won game 1 at home against Snell. Well, at home against lefties this season, Toronto is 20-3, averaging 7.3 runs per game. On the road, they're 6-14 with 6 straight losses, and in those last 6 losses, they've scored 1 run 4 times. If you exclude a couple games as a huge away favorite, they are only 3-13 on the road versus left-handed starters. A young kid making his first ever playoff start against a veteran pitcher who was embarrassed in his last start in game 1 of the World Series. This is an actual client play for me. LA Dodgers, first half, minus half a run, minus 135.
All right, let's talk some of these pitcher props. You were saying somebody, I'm looking at it right now, so somebody was playing the over the outs on Ohtani and Bieber last night, both like one won by the hook and one lost by the hook, right?
Yep. And again, it made sense to me because after that 18-inning performance, you're trying to stretch your starters to go a little longer. Well, the bullpen's now, are a little more rested. And again, you also got to realize you have tomorrow off as you travel back to Toronto. So entirely different situation for the bullpens tonight.
All right, so we got Yasavage at 12.5 outs and Snell at 17.5 outs. I would lean the under on Snell at 17.5 outs. You're getting plus money. He only went 15 outs. Last one, like you said, maybe their bullpen's a little bit rested. I don't know. What are your takes on the outs here?
There were a lot of games where, he just got to that number. So I don't trust Snell with that. I'm happy with him in the first 5. But to me, what is the Savage prop?
Savage is 12.5. And
Okay.
he got to 12 in his last game against the Dodgers. That one's really close.
And again, the game before that, he had 17, and then he had 12, then he had 15, and then he had 15. His 2 road starts against Kansas City, he had 12 in his last road start. I would go under in that. Again, granted, he won game 1. Granted, at home against Seattle in a win-or-go-home, he won. Playing on the road in a World Series game against this matchup again with the Dodgers seeing you for the second time in 4 games, I think he gets hit. Again, I like the Dodgers minus the run. I would bet his under outs prop for tonight.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement with you on that one. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see what the line is on Ohtani walks when he's the full-time batter. Can I get the over on walks? I wonder what the books are going to put that one out on. That one's going to be interesting if they put out 1.5 with juice, or if they put out 2.5. I mean, Toronto just came out and said we're walking him.
Well, and you look at Savage in his last 3 starts, again, all playoff starts, he's had 3 walks in each game. So he's had 9 walks in 13 2/3 innings. That's an incredibly high walk ratio for a young pitcher. And now playing on the road for the first time in the playoffs.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move to college football. You got Penn State and Ohio State. This Ohio State defense is just a complete juggernaut. I looked it up. They've allowed, 19 points at home all season. So they're a massive favorite here, minus 20.5. Over under is 43.5. What do you make of Penn State and Ohio State?
Well, back on May 30th, when DraftKings released their lines for this game, Ohio State was minus 4.5. They are now minus 20.5. So that's a 16-point difference. But when I looked at my preseason power rating numbers to where they are this week, I actually have Ohio State 18 points better. So you might say, how can you play into a 16-point line move? Well, it's a 16-point line move because the team absolutely sucks and fired their coach against a team that's completely playing better than we thought we would. A couple situations I want to point out to you, Andy, some T&A trends and angles. From week number 8 and on, teams off a shutout playing at home with a total under 60 since 2013 have gone 33-16, 67%. Teams at home off a win and off a bye and now a favorite of 11 or more, 105-81, 57%. And on the Penn State side, you're talking about a team that, oh yeah, by the way, this year, interim head coaches are now 6-0. So Penn State lost that game at Iowa, but they actually covered, losing by 1 point. They were getting 3 or 3.5. But remember, the week before, they had a lead against Northwestern. They lost that game. That's why they fired their coach. So if you have an FBS team that had a lead going into the fourth quarter in back-to-back games and they lost both games, 22-37, 37% against the spread. Now, I look at the Penn State offense and you might say, well, they're not too bad. They scored 37 against UCLA, 21 against Northwestern, and 24 against Iowa. Remember, guys, this is a completely different offense. Drew Aller, who people thought was one of the best quarterbacks in college football, is now out. They had to go to Ethan Grunkmeyer. He played a couple games early. He played in mop-up against Nevada. He played in mop-up against Villanova. But he had to play and start last week. Well, guess what? He threw for 93 yards with an 0-2 ratio. Penn State's 14 points last week was on an interception return, and they had a 30-yard drive, and then they blocked the field goal to run it back for a touchdown to score 14 in the first half. This Ohio State defense, not only are they number one in the country in yards per play, points per game, and yards per game, they are holding their opponents to 162 yards under their season average. Penn State is averaging 355 yards, so that means they're likely to hold Penn State to under 200 yards. When Penn State runs the ball, they're not going to be able to run the ball 2.8 yards per carry. And what makes this Ohio State Buckeyes defense so elite is they don't have to blitz to get pressure, and they have man-to-man cornerbacks, which allow their linebackers to do incredible things. Ohio State this year at the half allowed 0 points to Texas, 0 points to Grambling, 3 points to Ohio, 3 points at Washington, 3 points to Illinois, and 0 points at Wisconsin. The first half total is 23.5, but when you look at the team totals, it's only 17.5 and 3.5. So they're juicing those numbers because they want to set their team totals, which are far less than the first half team totals. But I've used some weird first half team totals or first half over-unders, Andy. How about this one for this best bet? Penn State under 3.5 points for the first half. Penn State is going to get shut out. You saw the Ohio State team, how excited they were last week getting that shutout against Wisconsin. No one's moved the ball against them early. Penn State has not any business even getting into the red zone with a redshirt freshman quarterback making his second start and now having to play in the horseshoe. So yes, it seems crazy playing under 3.5 points for the first half, but that's exactly what we're going to do.
All right, Marco might be a little upset about you because we're going to talk some sandwiches and some sandwich spot. This is a Bet On It special. They're recording Bet On It right now where Marco does his deli and talks about sandwich spots and divisional spots. But Ralph, walk us through the numbers here. This isn't, we're not saying, blindly bet these trends or everything, but just be careful when you're saying, oh, it's a sandwich spot, could be let down. So let's take a look at this chart and tell us about these divisional sandwich spots since 2021.
Isn't it been great, Andy? The response has been awesome for these, mythbuster kind of situations. Back-to-back road games are bad. We talked about it a few weeks ago. Home-to-home are good. Well, those both aren't true. Teams off a bye have underperformed as well. So it's the NFL, guys. There's data everywhere. Don't blindly fall into a trap that you think this is a situation without looking up the numbers. So, first off, these are NFL division sandwiches since 2021. And if people are new to sports betting and are not sure what a division sandwich is, it means your last game was against a division opponent, you're playing a non-division foe this week, and you have a division opponent on deck. So a non-division game sandwiched by 2 division games. So the top line in the darker gray, just the overall records since 2021. Teams in a division sandwich as a home favorite, 56%. Nothing wrong with that. Teams on the road in a division sandwich, 50% or higher as an away favorite or as an away dog. The only negative situation are home underdogs in a division sandwich, and they are 36-17. Now below that, Andy, you see P:"win" means they won that first game of the division sandwich. And then below that, they won at home or they won away. Same thing on the bottom with the loss. They lost the game, first game as a division sandwich, and they lost home and lost away. I'm going to post this on my X or Twitter at CalSportsOV if you want to take a deeper dive. But take a look at home favorites in a division sandwich. It makes total sense. You beat your division foe, and now you're a home favorite in a non-division game. You've only covered 44%. If you won that game at home, you've only covered 33%. But if you lost that game and now you're a home favorite, 13-5, 72%. If you're off a home loss, only 3 times it's occurred, 3-0, off an away loss, 10-5, 67%. So if you take one thing away from this chart, look at the home teams. Home favorites, off a win you fade, off a loss you play on. And if you're a home dog, it's pretty much been a fade the entire way. So next time you're looking at a division home dog like that, you know what to do, or at least have the data. I will tell you this week, there are 3 teams that are in a division sandwich: the New Orleans Saints, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Tennessee Titans.
God, those are some bad teams. Somehow applies to 3 of the worst teams in the league. It might be the 3 worst teams.
Well, okay, let's look. The Titans are in a home dog situation against the Chargers. We know that's a fade situation, so that's perfectly good for you. The Saints are on the road. So again, those are situations where they're in a way dog off a loss. 9 and 11, 45% for those teams this week.
All right, Ralph. Yeah, it's funny that applies to 3 of the worst teams. Oh, my God. All right, Ralph, tell everyone what you have up at Wager Talk.
Guys, I have a college football play tonight. I have a college football play for Thursday, and I will have a 5% college football play for Saturday. I'll be loading that by tonight or by tomorrow morning at the latest. Make sure you take advantage of the Weekend Warrior, just $49. And as soon as I start loading my college football plays for the weekend, you'll get them immediately. But maybe a 7-day all access is the better way to go for me, with a Wednesday and Thursday college football play and some NHL and NBA thrown in. But college football, 11 and 3, 79%, and 38 and 18, 68%. College football plays rated 4% and 5%, 19 and 6, 76%. College football 5%, 10 and 2, 83%. And let's not forget about those NFL teasers. They continue to win. My NFL teasers, 27 and 8, 77%. And Andy, my NFL teasers rated 4% or 5%. I will have one this week as well. 18 and 4. 82% against the spread.
All right, Ralph Michaels, great stuff, great breakdowns. Let's cash some tickets and get some winners here. Loving this World Series angle. I'm loving this World Series angle and this game tonight. So, Ralph Michaels, everybody. All right, if you guys could please hit the like button, and let's do all around the world. Let's do some free plays for everybody. We're coming off a really nice $5 Tuesday. Appreciate everybody that joined me on $5 Tuesday. We hit both of our plays, our NBA and NHL. And guys, I am going to continue to talk nonstop about props. Props has been one of the biggest, probably the biggest source of building my bankroll. The lines are soft. There are tons of options out there. I went back and looked. We're hitting 58% over the last 365 days in NBA and NHL. That will make you a lot of money over the season. So we'll give out some free plays here, but we're going to put together some specials so you guys can invest in props. Bill told you guys this on Monday. He bets 2.5 times the amount on a prop that he does on a spread or a total. The lines are just way better, and long term, you're going to profit. So I will continue to pound my desk about props here. All right, let's get Magic and Pistons. We're going to do Jalen Suggs over 5.5 rebounds plus assists. This just barely missed the card, and I'll tell you why. But he's had 5+ rebounds and assists in all 3 games. He's getting 8.7 rebound chances. He's getting 6.3 potential assists, and the Bucks allow 16 rebounds. It didn't make the card because he only plays 19 minutes a game. He was very, very close to making the official card, but he doesn't play enough minutes. He starts, but then he comes out and he just doesn't get the minutes. So really, really close here to making it, but that one missed. There's only one NHL game tonight. I like Marchenko over 2.5 shots on goal, over in 8 out of 9 games this season. Toronto allows over 5 shots to right wingers, so you can look at Marchenko. It's a little bit juicy. That's why that one didn't make the card tonight. It's like minus 160. But if you want to prop on that game, go for it. And again, Scottish Premiership. Let's do it. I was telling Chris and Ralph, I picked these free soccer plays from the free picks page, and they hit it like 75% when I talk about them on the show. So we'll keep doing them. This is from Kevin Dolan. We're going to take Dundee United and Motherwell over 2.5. Both teams are top 4 in scoring. Dundee United, third best shots on target, and in head-to-head meetings, they average 4 goals per game. I believe that game is this afternoon. It's like a 3:30 p.m. Eastern start. So you want a free soccer play? There you go. All right, yeah, Panda Marchenko's been great, but that they've caught on to Marchenko going over his shots on goal. So, all right, But hey, listen, you can still play it. You only pay the juice if it loses. So, all right, let's bring in Ross, the boss, Benjamin. All right, Ross, how are you, sir? Happy Wednesday.
Hey, I'm doing very well. Always great to be with you, Andy.
All right, we're going to start with NBA. My beloved Pacers. We cannot get anybody healthy. It's just like, all right, we're banged up going into the season. Then Nembhard gets hurt in the first game. It's like, so they're playing the Mavericks tonight. You got an over/under of 228. You got Dallas as a 6-point favorite. Be gentle on my Pacers. How do you break this game down?
Yeah, before I get to the analysis, real quickly, folks, I remember breaking down Game 7 of the NBA Finals between Indiana and Oklahoma City, and Andy, being an Indiana fan, was very concerned with the fact that they were going to use Tyrese Halliburton in Game 7 with the fear that, he might tear his Achilles, because that's what he was going through, an Achilles injury. And lo and behold, he's still out because he tore his Achilles in Game 7. So never like to see people or anybody hurt themselves in any sporting event. Boy, you were right on that, Andy. Kudos to you. And I'm sure you're not happy about that prediction either. In any event,
never hated being right more in my entire life, Ross. That was just
that's gut wrenching. Yeah, it is. And they're definitely missing them very badly this year with Nembhard out. Yeah, it's double indemnity there. So Dallas,
screw you. Hold on, Ross. Screw you, Carmine. I did not put it out into the universe. I did not cause that. Don't you blame me at all. Shame on you, Carm. Shame on you.
Got to blame it on somebody. Anyway, I got the total at 228.5 actually, but 228's fine. Dallas has scored 107 points or fewer in 3 or 4 games this year, including just 92 against San Antonio and 94 against Oklahoma City. It's no surprise they played 3-1 to the under so far this year. Andy, Indiana's playing their 3rd straight on the road. In their previous 2, they averaged just 106.5 points per game and shot a miserable 41.7%. In both of those contests went under the total. Dallas is ranked dead last in offensive rating and also scoring as well. Indiana, they rank 28th in offensive rating and 28th in free throw percentage, which continues to be a problem for Indiana. I think it was last year. Correct me if I'm wrong, Andy. They had problems at the free throw line last year, despite being a very good shooting team last year. But that's not been the case this year. I think this total is much too high for everything I just alluded to. I know both teams struggled defensively a little bit. Both play at a decent pace, not a real fast pace. But I'm going to go under the total here. Indiana, Dallas, under 228.5.
I agree with you 100%. I memean, we have more guys listed out than we do in. It's unbelievable. Toppin, Nembhard, McConnell, Mathurin. I'm with you 100% on that one.
Yeah, Mathurin's off to a tremendous start to the year. I think he's averaging 31 a game so far. So that hurts.
This season is all about what do we have in Mathurin. We need to see what we have in Nembhard and Mathurin. We know they're good, but how good can they be when all the pressure's on them? So,
when's the estimated time Halliburton might come back? Do you know, Andy?
Oh, they'll sit him out the whole year. I've heard Jason Tatum targeting coming back in the spring. That's insanity.
Yeah.
To come back, why? What would be the point of coming back from an Achilles injury? There's nothing good that can come back early when you come back early from an Achilles injury. Like, just sit him out. The Pacers, as far as I know, are not even considering playing him this year, and they shouldn't.
Yeah. Well, The Indiana medical staff ought to listen to you, Andy, because
Yeah, I've had a good read.
you made a bold prediction last year, and unfortunately for you and for the Pacers, it came true.
All right, well, let's talk a couple of NCAA college games. We got Oklahoma and Tennessee, and then you're going to do this line makes no sense, and you got a great one. I want to start with Oklahoma and Tennessee. Walk us through this game. You got Tennessee -3. You got over under at 57. How do you break this game down?
Yeah, I got 56.5. There is 57s out there. Either number's fine. Tennessee comes into this game averaging 45.6 points per game this season, 511 yards per game in total offense, and an enormous 7 yards per play on offense. Those are tremendous offensive numbers. And their defense that was supposed to be so good, Andy, I believe they had like 9 returning starters from a defense that was very good last year. But for whatever reason, whether it be injuries or just not living up to the standards they played last year, they're allowing just shy of 31 points per game and over 400 yards per contest. Not very good defensive numbers from one that was highly touted going into the season. It should come at no surprise with those numbers I just mentioned that the Vols have played 6-2 to the over this year. And here's an even more compelling stat when it comes to their over-unders. Whenever Tennessee has played, matter of fact, they've played 4 games this year with a total of less than 60. All 4 have gone over the total with an absurd 83.8 points scored per game combined between Tennessee and their opponents. So, boy, oh boy, you can't ignore that. After starting the season with 7 straight unders, Oklahoma went over the total in last week's 34-26 home loss to Ole Miss. They allowed a season-high 431 yards in that loss. Their previous high that they allowed was 302 yards against Texas. And again, I don't consider that a huge feat when you look at Texas's offensive numbers this year, especially within the SEC and quality opponents. Texas's offense leaves a lot to be desired. So having said that, you can make a very strong case that Ole Miss is the only dynamic offense that Oklahoma has faced all year long, and Tennessee might be even more explosive offensively than the Rebels are. The Sooners will be able to move the ball in this game. They don't have giant offensive numbers, but they're going to go against a porous and vulnerable Tennessee defense. I'm going to go Oklahoma and Tennessee over 56.5. Or you could go 57 or lower, go over the total.
All right, and this line makes no sense. We're going to go to big name team here. Walk us through this Georgia line and why it doesn't make any sense.
Well, it certainly doesn't make sense when you got the number 5 team in the country, Georgia, whose only loss came against Alabama, and that only came by 3 points, and they're facing a Florida team that's 2-4 straight up this season when facing FBS opponents. In addition, Florida's playing with a lame duck coaching staff. They've struggled offensively all year. But, they did upset Texas a couple weeks ago at home. And Florida, you look at this, and why is Georgia just a 7-point favorite, Andy? It's got to be Florida plus the points in this game. It looks too good to be true to take the Dogs as a touchdown favorite against a team that's having a horrible season by their standards and disappointing season in comparison to what they were projected to be before the campaign started. They were a top 25 team before the season started. So this one just makes absolutely no sense. And last week, folks, when I did this with Andy, we mentioned why is Washington a 4.5-point favorite as an unranked team against number 23 Illinois, and Washington, lo and behold, they won the game and covered the game very easily against the ranked team.
You've been absolutely money on these segments. I'm so glad we added this. You've crushed it. And by the way, you have agreement Titan said took a little on the Gators. He grabbed the hook on that one, so I don't think you're off base here. So, all
Yeah,
right,
that's
Ross.
the only. If I could just mention
Yeah.
the other part of the conversation is Georgia opened at 7.5, and they're down to 7 in some places. Not a huge move, but when you look at the betting splits of volume of bets and money being placed, it heavily favors Georgia. So a little bit of a reverse line movement and a hint of sharp money going on the Gators.
All right, Ross, tell everyone what you have up. It's a great Wednesday. What do you have for the people?
You know, this $49 Weekend Warrior special where you get all my Saturday college football picks, Sunday NFL picks, and if I have something on Monday, you'll get that as well. And that includes any 5% best bets I put out as well. So in last week, if you were with me on this Weekend Warrior package last week, we went 5-2 and had a pair of 5% best bet winners, a Saturday best bet winner on the Navy game against FAU to go over 62.5. They scored 74. And then on Sunday, I had the over in the San Fran game, and I can't recall now who they played because I turned the page. But that game easily went over the total as well. Not San Fran. I had an over in the NFL on Sunday, and that one as well. So 2 5% best bet winners, folks, $49 to get all my Saturday, Sunday, and Monday football plays in college football, NFL combined. And why should you consider getting that? Well, you know, I'm 25-12 to start the season in college football, number one in win percentage, number one in units earned with over 42 units of net profit. The NFL and college football combined since September 11th, 38-17, 69%. Up over 55 units, and had another winner last night on James Madison, -7, and they win the game 52-20. NFL since week 3, 18-5. You know, in college footballs, again, you go back to 2023 when I was number 2 in units earned. Last year, number 1 in units earned and number 2 in win percentage. And this year, number 1 in win percentage and number 2 in units earned. There's a degree of consistency there, Andy. In the NFL heating up, like I alluded to. Also, don't forget my NBA. 4-0 to start the season. 18-5 run dating back to last year. And you can I have an NBA winning side up for tonight. You can get it right now for $25 at WagerTalk.com or my direct link, which is wt.buzz/RB. And one more thing, folks, before I leave you. 365-day all-access pass, easy for you to say, Andy, $19.99. Right now, if you purchase that package from me, that will include all my picks for the next 365 days. If you use the promo code SAVE500 at checkout, that'll take that price down to $14.99. Not only that, you're going to get a 25% bonus coupon that you could use over the next 365 days for any purchase at the site from any other sports betting expert. You can't beat that with a stick. And if you don't want to make that investment, it's just $580 to get everything through December 31st of this year. So the rest of 2025, $580, folks. That amounts to a little over $8 a day. So that's all I got, Andy. I know it was a little long-winded, but a lot of good things to talk about.
All right, Ross. Yeah, tons of good things to talk about. Ross, the boss, Benjamin, let's have a great Wednesday. Check out Ross's plays of the Weekend Warrior. We're going to break down the Celtics and the Cavs real quick, guys. I have an NBA best bet that is up. We're 2-0 this year on NBA props. We hit our prop last night. Go grab that. And I put up our NFL Week 9 prop pack. NFL continues to be a really good bright spot. We went 8-4 last weekend. That's 3 winning weeks in a row. We're 57%. We're almost to that 58% winning mark for the season on the NFL. 58% is my goal. We've done that in NBA and NHL, so let's keep cashing. That prop pack will include everything from Thursday all the way through Monday Night Football. So NBA best bet that's up. NFL prop pack that is up. All right. Let's talk the Celtics and the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers are a 3.5-point favorite here on the road. Big total, 233.5. This opened at 234.5. I believe we've got some money on the under here a little bit. Defensive efficiency, both teams very good so far earlier in the season. Cavs are 6th and the Celtics are 8th, believe it or not. Offensive efficiency, these teams are pretty efficient, 16th and 17th respectively. Pace, big difference here. Boston is 25th in pace and Cleveland is 7th. So we're expecting Cleveland to run the ball a little bit more. Cleveland lost their opener at New York, but they've won 3 games in a row. Boston finally gets their first win of the season against the Pelicans. Pelicans shot absolutely terrible from the field. Zion did not play in that one. And when we look at the starting lineups, on paper, the Cavs have a big advantage inside with Mobley and Allen, but believe it or not, Boston has been a little bit better rebounding. Their bigs have done a nice job rebounding, but it's the scoring where Mobley and Allen are going to have a big advantage. They're not getting a lot of production from the front court in Boston. Cleveland is thin in the backcourt. Garland and Merrill are out tonight. And what's interesting about Boston is, as a team, they are out-rebounding Cleveland so far this season. So backcourt, front court doing a better job in the paint. My pick is going to be Cleveland minus 3.5. Boston just continues to struggle to score. They're 24th in scoring. They're 25th in three-point shooting. With the amount of guards that they have, they've got to be better than 25th in scoring if they want to have a chance to have a successful season. Cleveland is much better in these categories. All 3 Cleveland wins have been by 6+ points. I just don't think Boston's going to have the scoring to keep up. Give me Cleveland minus 3.5. And if you want a little player prop, take a look at Lonzo Ball over 8.5 rebounds plus assists. He's getting 10 potential assists and 7.3 rebound chances per game, and he plays exactly 23 minutes every game. We know exactly what we're getting from Lonzo Ball. You're going to get 23 minutes, and you're going to get some nice rebounds and some assists. Once again, NBA Best Bet is up. We hit on Monday. We hit on Tuesday. Those were our first 2 NBA plays of the year. We hit both of them. We're coming off of a number 1 year in NBA props last year. Last year was my best year in the NBA. By far, we brought in 37 units, and I'm looking forward to continue that tonight. So grab the NBA Best Bet, and let's continue those winning ways. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Please hit the like button. It's algorithm boost. You guys know that. Leave us a comment in the comment section. Great comments yesterday on Prez and the rolling competition. So let us know in the comments what your best bet is for tonight. Let's have a big Wednesday. We're going to be back tomorrow, and then let's buckle up for an action-packed football Friday. It's Halloween. I already have my costume. Can't wait for y'all to see it on Friday. We're going to do a ton of football action, so make sure you join us there. Let's have a big Wednesday, and we'll see everyone tomorrow. Take care.